Hello, you amazing friends. I am so lucky to be live streaming with the amazing Ben Silverman, the a legendary American who lives in Japan. How you doing today, Ben?
Hey, it's great to be here. I'm doing good. We're just having a heat wave in Tokyo. It's like 35 degrees Celsius right now. It's ridiculous. So other than melting, I'm great.
Now, I was just going to say, now, did you get married recently? Is that correct?
I did about a year and a half ago, actually, but because of COVID, we couldn't do the wedding. So we finally had the wedding last month. Small wedding with just sort of her family because my family couldn't come from the States, unfortunately, but it was beautiful and it was nice.
Oh, incredible. Now, tell us a bit about you. You're obviously a legendary, very handsome white American guy living in Japan. Tell us a story about that because it is fascinating. There you
All right. Well, I'll try to keep it short because it's been a bit of an adventure. But I came out here in 2010 teaching English and somehow got recruited into doing Taekwondo for Team Japan. So I ended up basically fighting across the country and Asia for 7 years before opening up my own online fitness nutrition coaching business. So now I help executives and expats living across the world basically get fit and healthy and develop better lifestyles, even if they don't know what food they have.
Oh, wow. Well, several reactions to that. Firstly, we're in the process of enrolling our young kids in Taekwondo. So, absolutely love Taekwondo. I didn't know that. There you go. So, you got the American doing Korean martial arts in Japan. I
In
love it. That's
Japan.
awesome.
Yeah,
Love
I
it.
get that a lot.
I love following the narrative. And I've got to say, you've done an amazing job. I mean, in a very short space of time, you've really sort of you really built a name for yourself. And I was going to ask you, what made you sort of naturally go into health and fitness? So you're in Japan, you're teaching English. I gather you met your wonderful wife when you were in Japan teaching English.
I met my wife actually when I was doing Taekwondo professionally. On the way home from the dojo, all covered in sweat in my workout clothing, my friend calls me over to a bar. He's like, "Yo, buddy, I need a little help here." And I'm like, "I'm definitely not in a condition to help you talk to women or anyone for that matter." But I was there and I ended up meeting my wife there.
Oh my god, that's a best story. So there you go. You've been
Covered
to a
in
bar. I love
sweat.
it. I
Covered in
love
sweat.
it.
I was definitely the catch of the night. I can tell you that.
So
I don't know
so
why.
as before we were joking, I was joking before about the yakuza kicking out the door, and you pick up a katana and American
Yeah.
Ninja style, you take them down. It looks like I wasn't far off that comment. It looks like I think you could definitely handle the yakuza with the katana based on what you're saying.
I mean, I wouldn't want to, but I think I could hold myself in if I needed to. Being national champion of Japan, I think that should give me some sort of qualification to throw some hurt down if I need to. Not that
No,
I've never actually been in a fight in my life though. So
haven't you? Oh, I've been in too many fights in my life, hence why my nose is very broken, and I've got a lot of people said, Ed, have you ever done boxing before? I'm like, thank you for the compliment, implying my mangled face from all the fighting over this. I'm jealous. So stay out of fighting is my advice to everyone. That's all I can say.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely
Now,
nothing good comes from it.
now I was going to say, Ben. Now, you're in health and fitness. Tell us a bit about that. And what you're working on, awesome, Ben.
Sure. So basically, I focus on helping executives uh, take control of their lifestyle, sort of work on their time management, understand how to eat better, and how to sort of take care of their body. So a lot of people approach health and fitness from the perspective of dieting, losing weight, which is very easy, honestly, to do short term. You just don't eat and you'll lose weight. But what do you do long term? How do you sustain?
Yeah.
How do you get a body that you're comfortable with, confident with, and that you can maintain that fits your lifestyle? So what I do is I work with executives, CEOs, and country managers throughout Asia, or basically anyone who's living abroad, to figure out how does food work in that country, because every country has their own unique recipes, their own restaurants, the calories, oh my god, like how to deal with that, and then how to exercise in a way that fits with their schedule. I kind of fell into that because I did recruiting for a few years after I was a taekwondo fighter, and I went from 60 kilograms 2% body fat to 80 kilograms 18% body fat. And I was like, wow, yeah, corporate life in Asia, there's definitely some work that could be done here on health and balance. That's kind of how I fell into it.
Wow. And just a few reactions, got a few great comments. If you are watching now, thank you. Please smash that like, sharing content, and comment,
Push
connect
it.
with Ben Silverman. There we go. we've got Musa, we've got our friends from Abu Dhabi, and we've got Africa tuning in. So we've got heaps of people watching. We've got about 30 people watching live, I think. So if you're watching live, make sure you smash that like, sharing, comment, and say hello. And we're broadcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Hey, Nicholas, good seeing you. We've got Argentina as well. You've got a whole international crew, Ben. Now,
Awesome.
Can I be honest with you with some mistakes that I made, Ben? Can I be honest with you?
I don't know. Do you want honest feedback or the friendly feedback?
Oh no, I'll stab myself in the neck, so you won't have to do much, right? But basically, what I did was pre-lockdown, I was very fit, not as fit as you. I don't know if I could only handle 2 Yakuza guys. I couldn't handle a whole squad like you could, right? But basically, I was pretty fit. Like you would have said, Ed, you're doing pretty well. And during the lockdowns, I really slid. I literally put on like a kilo a month for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Which is 20 kilos, like just doing a bit of mathematics. And what happened was at the end of lockdown, I've lost about 16 kilos of it, 16 of 20 kilos.
Nicely done.
So in other words, basically because we've only known each other recently, you didn't see the original before on that. And to this day, it really bothered me because before the lockdowns, I used to pride myself as a guy that was really fit, really disciplined. And you're right, I just lost it during the lockdowns. I'm getting it back now, but the point is the 2-year lockdowns, I just lost it. And I agree with you. I couldn't sustain my weight through the lockdowns. I'd love to hear your commentary, and please be honest. Yeah, I'm not here for compliments. I'm here for truth. Why do you think I did it, and how did I fall into that trap? I know what I think, but I want to hear what you think, because you're probably more closer to the truth than I am.
I think that maybe for you and a lot of people it was something much, much more simple and insidious at the same time, which is when you are at home and you work from home and you do everything from home, it's not the fact that people stop going to the gym. It's that your overall movement for the day just disappeared, because you could wake up, literally roll into work and never get up other than to like go to the bathroom and maybe pick up Uber from the door. There's no need to get dressed. So you don't go walking, you don't go up and down stairs. And to be honest, more than like 60% of the calories we burn on a daily basis comes from all those little movements we do normally: walking to the station, going to lunch, having a coffee, cooking, things that people just stop doing, and then when you're at home all day and you're working and you're kind of tired and your brain's going, what do you want to do? You eat something.
Yeah.
If you're in a high-rise office, you got to actually go down 15 floors, find the nearest convenience store or deli, order something, go back, and you're like 30 minutes out of work, and it's just too much hassle. But when you're at home, all you can do is eat.
Yeah. And the thing I noticed as well is, because again, I am quite ashamed of it. I've been sort of digesting again, I'm a veteran. I used to be a fit guy. How did I slide like that, right? The bit that I find interesting is that it sneaks up on you. It's not like, one of my friends, I won't out who she is because I'm trying to protect her, but she actually used to be a model, a very attractive lady. And she used to be a model. She's been on TV. Again, don't want to say who she is. And I actually was talking to her the other day. And she was saying, Ed, I think she's like in her early, like mid-30s. She says, Ed, the weight's creeping up on me. Right? It's sort of like, I just realized I don't fit into the same clothes I did a year ago. It's kind of insidious, isn't it? It kind of creeps up on you as it get old. If you're not careful, it kind of sneaks up on you, doesn't it, Ben?
It does. It definitely does. I think also a lot of people that end up gaining weight that used to be fit, the motivation for being fit tends to be more physical versus mental. So it's easier to rebound or gain weight when your reason not to is weak. So when people you see a lot of people exercise because they want something. But if you see people that never lose their fitness or never gain weight, it's because they're afraid of what's going to happen if they stop. Right. So it's the fear motivation,
So you're saying a bit of fear is what keeps us in line. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to live your life based on fear, but having a clear understanding of the consequences and having those consequences be something you really don't want to happen is a powerful motivator, even if you're stuck at home all day.
Interestingly, I actually tried them on today. I've got a wonderful pair of cargo pants that pre-pandemic used to be loose on me and kind of puffy. and now I can barely fit into them again. So I feel good that I can now fit into them again, but I feel bad that I put myself in this position. So I was going to ask you, for anyone listening, be it me or anyone listening, and hey, we've got a few people tuning in. We've got Argentina, America, Australia. If you just come in, smash that like, share, and comment. And I was just going to say, to those who put on a lot of weight during lockdown and are still, because I talk to a lot of people who are still dealing with their lockdown weight.
Yep.
Now, obviously, them speaking to you and hiring you was a great move. What else do you say to those people like me who put on a lot of weight during lockdown to really get things under control? What's some of your top tips to them, in addition to hiring you, of course, which I highly recommend?
So it's really, really simple. Some people might not like this because it's so simple. Walk more. Get up, go out, walk. Drink more water. Our body is what, 60% water. We underestimate how important it is. If you drink more water, you're going to be less hungry, and it helps your body in so many ways. Stop buying crazy supplements and things that promise you to lose weight, because if they worked, there would be no fat people in the world.
Yeah.
And simply eat a couple of more vegetables. Like, that's it. If you start doing that, if you walk more, eat a little more veggies, drink more water, you're going to start in the right direction, because it accumulates. You start doing that, you feel a little bit better. You want to do a little bit more. Start small, and you'll be amazed at how far you'll go in a year.
Wow. And one of our wonderful personal friends, Amanda's tuned in on Facebook. We had this conversation. He goes, lockdown weight is the pit. Isn't that true, Amanda? And I love it. And it's funny you talk about walking, because I've been walking. Again, I've got my latest Samsung. I've been tracking my steps. I, on average, walk at least 12,000 steps a day, right?
Nice. Very good.
And I find it's funny you say it, because during lockdown, because I had all the numbers, you know how, just in my phone history, right? I had some days in lockdown where I would walk 2,500 steps a day, right? Like, that's just like,
I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
shouldn't
You
laugh.
should
I
laugh,
shouldn't laugh
because, you know, and so these days I walk at least 12, on average. Like, some days I'll walk 5,000 steps, another day I'll walk 18,000 steps, but on average I do at least 12,000 steps a day. And feeling good, like, you're right. I find when you get the steps up, because when I was doing like 4,000 steps a day, I was quite chunky. The moment I started breaking 10,000 steps a day, it was like the weight just falls off you. Is that a fair comment, Ben? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Absolutely. So a lot of people don't realize this, but if you power walk or walk fast, you burn more calories than you do by jogging. Walking typically burns more calories than jogging, and walking 10,000 steps will burn anywhere between 400 to 600 calories. Now, if you do that 10 days, that's 6,000, almost 7,000 calories. 7,000 calories is 1 kilogram of fat. So if you walk 10,000 steps for a little more than a week and a half, you could theoretically burn a kilogram of fat, not just weight, of fat. You won't even get near burning that much in the gym.
Wow. And also, too, I know walking, like, okay, it's funny, actually. You're going to laugh at this, and please do. And to those listening, please laugh at me. And hello, Cami from London. We've got Demetrius from Greece. We've got Amanda. Amanda's doing 12,000 steps. Good for you, Amanda. Amanda's a personal friend of mine. Amazing lady. She actually runs a really high-end golf club. But I was going to say that the biggest... Oh, sorry, say again.
I said I need to learn how to play golf. I feel like that's something that everyone does, and I can't even hit the ball.
There you go. It's I suppose you have to put down the katana and stop fighting the Yakuza and go hit some golf balls.
Can I just like throw it and cut it in midair? Like, I feel like I'd be better at that.
Like Fruit Ninja. Remember that game on PC and tablet where you slice the fruit? I don't know if you remember that game.
I still have it. What are you talking about? The minute I bought an iPad Pro so I could play Fruit Ninja.
Oh, there you go. The only use for an iPad, which is good. Hey, we've got Isaiah from Cleveland. Good seeing you. You've got a whole international crew. You've got Americas, Africa, Asia. You've got everyone here. Greece, the Mediterranean. That's good. We've got Dubai as well. Yeah, so I was going to say, it's interesting, but it's funny that, because the moment I up my steps, right, I remember, and you're going to laugh at this, and please do, I was walking about maybe 4,000 steps a day, which was terrible. And one day I walked 15,000 steps, and two things happened. It almost killed me, right? Just then it felt like, I ran a marathon, right? Which was nuts. But it was interesting is that when I first started walking again, I was just coughing and spluttering, and I could actually feel basically, just the detoxing and what I was getting at, even though I lost the weight, just after a few days of walking, just my well-being felt so damn good.
Yeah.
And it kind of, you're right. You talked about other benefits. It kind of detoxes you and gets you healthy, doesn't it, Ben?
It does. I mean, walking has so many health benefits. It's so underrated. Sorry, I've been in Japan so long I forget English. I mean, when you walk, it gets your blood flowing, and blood flow improves everything. A lot of people have this conception that exercise is simply for like weight loss, but blood flow, your brain's a muscle. So the more blood flow you get, that means the more oxygen to your brain, which means you think better, means you work better, means you feel better. Walking is so good for you. If there's one thing you're going to do, one choice that you're going to make to be healthier, walk more. Like, it will transform your life if you do it every day.
Good. So is this a fair comment? If everyone listening, me included, if we walk at least 10,000 steps a day on average, is that very fair advice that you're giving?
Oh, absolutely. If you walk 10,000 steps on average and even pay a little bit of attention to what you're eating, you'll probably start losing weight right away.
Wow. I love it.
It's
Ben,
that
what other tips and insights can you give us? Please monologue. Tell us whatever you're thinking.
Well, where to begin? So, I mean, I want to make it very, very simple for you. The most important thing you can do in order to be healthy or fit or lose weight, any of those things, is try not to do everything at once. This is the biggest number one reason I see people fail, is they go to the extreme. They go from not moving for 2 years during COVID lockdown to trying to go to the gym every day and like surviving on salads. And they wonder why they fall off the wagon 2 weeks later, because it's like, no one can live like that. That's like monk stuff that people train their lives to do. If you really want to make change happens over time and little by little. It took you 20, 30, 40 years to build and develop the habits and body you have now. It's not going away in a week. So long-term game, play for life, not for results. That's the first thing. More concretely, again, drink water, move more, eat more vegetables. Instead of trying to remove the things from your life that you love, which, at least for me, I don't know about you, Ed, but when someone tells me not to eat something, all I can think about is how much I want to eat that. So instead of telling yourself, I can't have hamburgers, I can't have pizza, tell yourself you can have that, but try to have other things that are good for you before you have that. So eat some vegetables first, have some protein first, then have dessert. Don't have dessert first. Don't have your soda before you eat dinner. Eat the healthy food first, and then have the foods you love if you're still hungry. That's one. Two, let me give you guys a couple of really, really simple skills that you can implement right now. Now, you've probably heard this from your parents when you were a kid, which is eat slow, right? I don't know, did your parents ever tell you like chew your food more?
No, I hate to say, I was in the foster system. I had many
Okay.
different parents, and I was encouraged to. I had the worst advice ever. I was basically encouraged to. Food's not always going to be around, so stuff it in as quickly as you can when you can. So no wonder I'm full of eating disorders today as a 44-year-old man. There's your answer.
Well, my parents told me to chew slowly, and I still had eating disorders, so I wouldn't take it too deeply. But I think we hear this a lot: eat slowly, but it's actually quite hard to do, and a lot of people underestimate how powerful it is. So here's a trick to reduce the calories that you eat in a day without actually changing what you eat. Whenever you sit down for a meal, you have your plate. I want you to eat 50% of that. So when you're halfway through whatever's in front of you, I want you to take a 10-minute break. So stop eating for 10 minutes, talk to someone, get on your phone, whatever you want, break for 10 minutes. And then if you're still hungry, keep eating another 50% of whatever's left over, and then another 10-minute break. Then if you're still hungry, eat another 50%, then another 10-minute break till you finish this. Now, what this does is they actually have science that shows there's a delay between your brain and your stomach. That's why if you eat really, really fast, you can eat a lot more before you get full. It takes time for your brain to realize this. So by putting that break in, your brain's going to start catching up to your stomach. And even if you finish everything, you might not get as hungry later on. And so over the entire day, what happens is you end up eating less calories, and this can help you lose weight.
Wow. I probably shouldn't say this to you, especially on a live, but I will anyway. But so recently, what's happened to myself, and I'm really proud of this, is I used to be a homeless veteran not too long ago, so I'm quite proud of this. I'm now a gold frequent flyer with Virgin Airlines, so I've now got the
Woo!
gold frequent flyer status. And you know what that gives you, Ben?
Free lounge access with buffets.
Thank you. Yes. So what it is now is so I now before my flight, and I fly like at least twice a month. Before my flight and after my flight, I get lounge access before and after the flight, right?
Yeah,
And also too, I can allow up to 2 guests with me. So if I'm with a client, they can come in with me. So quite often these days, since I've started attending the business lounge, I don't know what they do. I don't know if they like spray pheromones or drugs in the air, but the moment you enter the business lounge, I can go from like Buddhist monk to like starving student. It's like it activates the 8-year-old in me at Pizza Hut, and
yeah.
you just enter a feeding frenzy. And I've also done it to my clients. I've taken my clients in there. My clients will outside lecture be saying, "Oh no, Ed, I'm very disciplined." The moment they're in there, they turn into starving students, right? And I know that delay effect because what I did was, let's say your flight's in 45 minutes. I don't know what it is. We kind of form this game, whereas how many calories can you fit in 45 minutes before you have to go to your flight?
A
And it's
lot, I'm
funny
sure.
because we've done really well. Like we'll eat, we have all those contests of how much we can eat. And I only did this like 2 weeks ago. And what's interesting, I know about that delay effect because what will happen is while you're stuffing your face full of food in the flight in the business lounge, you're not hungry, but half an hour on the flight, it all kicks in and you feel like you're going to explode in your seat. Is that delay effect you're talking about?
Exactly. That's the delay.
Wow. So like it, so you're saying eat part of your meal and slow down and what let your mind and your body catch up with what you've done to it.
Exactly. It's so simple, but it's surprisingly powerful.
Wow. Love your tips, Ben. Ben, what are some other your hot tips as well? Anything else on your mind that you'd love to share with us?
Sure. Let me hit on exercise a little bit. I think I've been talking a lot about food and habit, but exercise is I know everyone wants to figure out or do better. So here's my number one tip. Don't wait for when you have an hour to do a full workout. If you have 5 minutes in the morning, do something for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If you have 5 minutes after lunch, do it then. A lot of people think if you don't do a full workout in the gym, you're not going to get the results. That's not true. If you take that hour and break it up over 10 minutes every day, that's actually more effective than just doing that 1 hour once. So your muscles grow more by being stimulated often versus more at one time. So this is a little science. Don't go to the gym and try to do it all once. Do a teeny bit every day and you'll get way better results.
It's funny, actually. I remember I'm actually quite a fit guy. I'm not as fit as you, but let's say I'm half as fit as you. I reckon I can claim that I'm half as fit as you, right? Okay, maybe 30% as fit as you. But I remember when I was in the army, and I actually did this. And Amanda, yes, so taking questions. If you got any questions, type them in the chat and I'll read them out. Amanda wants to ask you some questions, my friend Amanda. But I
Fire
remember
away.
when I was in the army, they were big fans, and to this day actually, and police in Australia, interval training. And they said that what would happen is that you join the army. When you join the army, people are varying levels of fitness, right? And basically, to complete your basic training, you got to run X distance in Y time, right? I think it was like 1.5 miles in like 12 minutes, right? Medium pace, nothing. No, I'm sure it's something that you could do half asleep, no problem, right? But I
Actually, I
remember
hate
though,
running, but
I have no trouble with it, by the way, but I remember for a lot of people, they actually did interval training to get people within the space of 6 weeks fit enough to run to the army fitness. So they used to say, do a little bit, stop, little bit, stop. That is way better than just doing a grueling 2-hour workout. Of course, I couldn't agree with you more, isn't it?
absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to what your goals are. If you want to be a bodybuilder, if you want to have these like huge, gigantic muscles, then yes, going to the gym and spending an hour on these tiny little muscles and doing bicep curls all day might be the right answer. But if you just want to be a fit, healthy person, maybe have a 6-pack, just be lean, interval training is an amazing, amazing tool to do it in a short amount of time. That being said, it still sucks just as much. It's just you're taking all of this energy and compressing it into this amount of time. So the suck is the same, just takes less time.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Ben, I got to say, I love where you're going. I just want to bounce over to our fans for the moment. If you just come in, please like, share, and comment. If you're watching the recording, please do the same and connect with Ben. I was going to say, as we wrap things up, wonderful Ben, if people love what you're about, how can they hire you and get in contact with you and give you money, basically? How can people engage you?
Well, you can come to my LinkedIn page. I'm following Ed, so you can find me there. And on there's a link to schedule a free call where we can hop on Zoom or Google Chat or whatever works for you and just go over what's going on. You can also hit up my Instagram, which is ben.in.tokyo, which if anyone's curious, I can post that in the comments later. And those are probably the two easiest ways to reach me. I guess you could check out my website, which is flexfithealth.com. Flex FLX, but honestly, it's not a great website because I designed it myself. So I'd probably stick to my LinkedIn.
You're a fitness guy. You're not a website builder. No one's holding you to that. And your last name, of course, is Silverman. Ben Silverman, as you can see in the script. Now, if you've got any questions, anyone, please type them in right now and I'll put them to Ben. Ben, could you just give us some closing thoughts to wrap things up? And actually, got a question in from Amanda, my friend Amanda. I'll just read it out. So I'll read it out word for word, and love to get your reactions to my friend Amanda. So this is my friend Amanda from Sydney. So I have a congenital hip dysplasia, and as I've gotten older, it's become a real problem. I've worked with doctors and physios, and I've recently had a cortisone injection to my L5. My whole spine is stuck too. Now, again, I know you're not a doctor. We're not asking for health advice, but I think Amanda's question is, let's say you've got injuries or you've got some problems limiting you. What's your reactions to that? And I can understand that. I used to have huge knee and ankle trouble, so I get it. If you've got some serious issues or injuries, how do you exercise with that going on? Again, not asking for health advice, but just your general reaction to that, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, my opinion on injuries and let's say getting over them. So I've torn both of my meniscuses in my knees. And I went to 4 different hospitals, 8 different doctors, and 3 different physiotherapists.
So you know this topic very well. You know this topic extremely well.
Yeah. Okay. They all told me my athletic career was over. They said, you can practice, you can run, you can exercise, but you're never going to be a pro again. I won the national championship the next year.
Wow.
So
did you send them your Instagram post with it and say, "Hi, Doc, how do you explain this?" Smiley face.
Yeah, I should have. But I'm not an expert on specific hip issues, but here's what I can say. A lot of injuries, you have to be very, very careful to first recover before you start doing activity again. So my injury took much longer to actually get better because I kept trying to do stuff. And every time you hit that, that kind of hurt, maybe, I don't know, I feel something, but then you're like, that is probably all right. You're actually making it worse.
Yeah.
So when you're exercising, when you're living, you want to, first of all, avoid any movement that is painful. And I'm not just about like, ow, ow, ow. I mean, like, what's that? I feel something. Something is bad, typically. Yeah. So that's 1. You can get over it, but you first have to stop the pain. 2, a lot of times injuries are born out of flexibility issues. So our muscles are all connected. They connect to bones. Bones connect to tendons, and they connect to other muscles, and they all pull on each other. So if you have one muscle, for example, let's say your hamstrings, which is a common issue, you've got tight hamstrings, that's going to pull your hip in one direction. And when you move, that's going to affect your movements. And especially you see this when people go and they injure themselves squatting or deadlifting or lunging, doing exercise. It's because their left and right sides are not moving the same way. So 1, you can work on your flexibility. I'm not going to suggest any specific stretches because that's something a physical therapist who actually is familiar with your injury should suggest. Yeah. But a lot of times really focusing on stretching and developing well-balanced, flexible muscles will help you get over the cause of the injury. Then you want to train all of the muscles around the injured area. So once you've hurt someplace, it's probably not going to go back to the way it was. But your body is adaptable. It's amazing how we evolve. People think of evolution of millions of years. Your body's evolving every day. You just don't notice it. If you train your muscles around your injury, they can compensate for a lot of the flexibility or movement or strength that you lost in your injury. Now, again, This doesn't work for everything. If your spine's broken, please don't do anything until it's healed. Like, please use common sense. But in my experience, most injuries that do not have any nerve damage, or if it's not torn or gone, you can compensate by working the muscles around it and making it more flexible.
Oh, and my friend Amanda says, love it. There you go. And I think Amanda thinks you're attractive as well. Just leave a comment if you think Ben's good looking, Amanda, because I certainly do. And it's interesting. Again, this comment's not aimed at anyone in particular. I'm just saying this more about me and generally. But what was interesting, so my old injuries, I've got 2 old injuries. I've got my old army knee and my old army ankle, which happens to be my right leg. So right knee and right ankle. Amanda says, haha, we love you, Amanda. And it's interesting. This actually happened to me, I remember. So these days, I've got about maybe 4 kilos left to lose, and I'm sort of back to my original pre-lockdown self. And I remember pre-lockdown, I felt really good. But what I remember was when I hit the peak of my lockdown, felt like I was 20 kilos heavier, my knee started hurting again. My ankle started hurting, obviously from the extra weight. But when I lost about 10 kilos, all that pain started to remove. So I found that, I'm sure you're going to say this, but I found that you might have injuries, but if you get overweight, those injuries come to the surface. Am I understanding this correctly? What do you think of that, Ben?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely, Ed.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's pretty straightforward. If we're talking about like your knees or ankles, they support your body, right?
Yeah.
And as you're gaining weight, you're probably also losing muscle because you're not exercising. So your body's heavier and weaker, and now that all of that pressure is just going right on your knee. So instead of all of your core and abs and muscles supporting your body, it's all just crushing down on you.
There you go. You're describing my lockdown very accurately, Ben. Absolutely brilliant. To everyone listening, thank you. If you've got any final comments or thoughts, please get them in now. Smash that like, share a comment, and comment with Ben. Ben, let's wrap this one up. Ben, can we get some closing thoughts from you as we bring this legendary interview to its epic crescendo and conclusion?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, and everyone for tuning in and watching, leaving those comments and liking. We love it. Health is overcomplicated, and it's way more expensive than it should be. The only thing you really need to do is start taking action. If you start trying to be healthier, making healthier decisions, I guarantee you'll get there. It's not a 0 or 100, a black or white. It's improvement, being better, moving 1 millimeter forward, that, so that you're 1 step closer to your goal than you were the day before. One day stepping back does not mean you've messed up. It just means you got to move forward again. As long as you keep moving forward, I guarantee anyone can get fit and healthy.
Oh, Ben, well said. Friends, can we give it up for Ben? Ben, I really appreciate you. And like all things, please, everyone, can you please get in contact with Ben? Please add him everything. Ben, thank you so much. I just want to wish you a wonderful evening, and keep fighting the Yakuza like full on American Ninja style with the katana. I love it.
Don't say that, man. They're here. They're actually around.
They're here.
They're going to come for me, man.
Oh, we love you. Big thank you, Ben. Appreciate you so much, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Ed. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.